Well, hey, interview is hot. Dating in medical school. Risk factor for tragedy.
Hi, Dr.
Hello. Wow. Okay. I think I'm a typical description of that. I'm not going to deviate as you expect. By character, I'm ambitious, so I tend to focus on what I want. So typically, yes. However, there are so many doctors who live life like they enjoy typical enjoyment of life as is understood. So yes, we also have times to celebrate here and there. Well, 6 years in a summary. Where do I start? My first year to third year was one experience, and then fourth year to sixth year was another experience. First year to third year, books. So anxiety. Hey, I used to cry. Med school is the one place where you feel illegal to do something apart from reading. So when you're at home with family and you spend time with family for 2 hours, immediately you finish, your brain starts calculating how much content you would have covered in those 2 hours. So you spend time with people, you're happy, but if they follow you, you're crying. If people invite you somewhere for a birthday party, you force yourself and you go. But immediately it's over, the brain starts calculating, those 6 hours, you could have covered some. So first year to third year was a lot of tears. Anything apart from books, you cry. Because your brain tells you should have been reading. The threat of exams is real. Fourth year to sixth year, a bit there, it was marked by confusion. The first 3 years was anxiety. Fourth year to sixth year was confusion. You're thrown in the hospitals because now you're not in school physical setup, you're in the hospitals. So you have a rotation, which is you're in a department like pediatrics for 6 to 8 weeks. I think it was 8. Week 1, week 2, week 3, you still don't know what is going on. You just think babies cry. If you're in obstetrics, you're seeing women deliver. You have no idea. And then the last 2 weeks, you're preparing for exams. So ideally, you have 2 weeks there in the middle to know what you're supposed to know in that entire department. But my personal experience, it will be unfair to hide that as a child of God, it became easier along the way. I wouldn't want any person who will listen to this who knows God to miss out, because Christ is not a plan B, it's plan A. So my dad would always say, Jesus did not send you there to cry. Jesus did not send you there to cry. So along my fourth year, it sank. At somewhere along the way, it hit me, Jesus did not send me here to cry. I've said my first year, third year was a lot of crying. So as I was finishing third year, getting into fourth year, those words suddenly made sense. Jesus did not send me here to cry. And I remember I was in the library when that revelation came to me, and my medical journey changed. It became home. It became life. It became what I was looking for. Exams stopped terrorizing me. I would sleep the night before exams, or even the whole day before exams. I was not anxious at all. So the revelation of Christ holding me really changed my medical story. Most of my colleagues would wonder how I'm able to do it, how I'm able to get into the exam room. And people would wonder how I'm able to get into the exam room. Everyone is busy trying last minute rush, and I'm just staring at them, waiting, wondering when these exams will come. So yes, Christ did change the story for me. I still went through those ups and downs, but my story is a bit personal from that point. Well, Hey, interview is hot. Dating in medical school. Risk factor for tragedy. It's doable. We've seen people go in first year, start dating to sixth year. But it's not an experience you just want to please consider. Because medical school in itself, trying to put other things in play, you will strain. But then I would see most people, if you're both in the health field, it's easier. Someone understands a lot. But especially if someone is not in the field, in that same department, you'll struggle. I'm not sure out of 100 how many saw the lights coming out together. Personally, mine broke before it started. So, but yeah, I think what my experience is those who started dating from fourth year, fifth year, sixth year had a better chance than those who started it from first year. Because between third year and fourth year is a whole transition, and then the first years are really demanding. And then now from, I think, fourth year also, brain-wise, you've adapted in many ways. You can add other things here and there. So the first years you're shocked. Everything is a shocker. But from fourth year, I think we've adapted. So most people who started from fourth year, I think they saw the lights. Well, the lights. Very few still, but it is a tricky agenda. Now, this interview is me, so I'll answer it as me. I'll have to incline to myself. Med school is 6 years, but everyone lives with their own unique story. If someone else was sitting here, they would have a totally different story, totally different answers. For me, my social life was dead. 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 I was the kind of person, I only know those who sit around me, not even the whole class. Those who sit around me were like front benchers. I only know the front benchers and maybe the second row and the third one if I go too far. I never used to know people in either the classes ahead or the classes behind. So my social life has started after school. But that is my story. Some of my colleagues, I think I saw them enjoy all through with different ways. Again, it was coping mechanisms of stress for some people. Mine, in a nutshell, was dead, but now it's alive. Yes. As a student, it's even lesser because the more I went to the hospitals, I realized most doctors, their escape route of stress is in alcohol. I saw one time I was in the hospital and there was a doctor who had to smoke for him to actually be called to do what they need. So it's actually real. And it gets even more real. As a medical student, you're just being shocked. There's a whole mental breakdown. My worst experience was in child psychiatry, seeing children who are, because you listen to the children's stories, you're like, hey, that was one of the days that I left there and I was like, this is too bad. I broke down because children, you see the worsts of humanity. You see children who've been subjected to extremes of torture and they're there and they're children, so they're so innocent, but they're really miserable. There's this child who came and he can just collapse anytime because of a condition we call PTSD. They've gone through stories of being thrown up by a bull, being subjected by relatives, too much. So yes, it does affect, because seriously, after seeing that, will I come out excited to give birth to children? I'll have to count the cost really well. Also in the emergency department, you see a lot of wonders. I saw a lady came, she was holding her ear. And then she has her mom. Is a lady. She's mature. She was married, but now she's been brought by her mom. The story goes they were fighting the spouse alimuma, the ear and akangoa. So the ear is in the handbag. That same day, another one came, was told surprise, and they were kadungwa kisu. So all these things used to interfere with even your perception of love, because this is the side of love you're being shown every day. So you realize, even as you're counting the cost in some of these things, those memories, if you're not careful, you'll not realize they're affecting you in one way or another. So yeah, those things are real, but that's why we also go for counseling. Best moment is when you save a child's life. The babies who come to the newborn unit, they've just been born and you just know this is gone. Then you struggle, and the baby survives. Hey, that one calls for celebration. The other, my personal best moment, I go to present my research in anesthesia conference, the 30th conference, while I was in my 5th year. Doing that research was pain, but it gave me a lot of good things. So getting to present and even planning to publish is the other high moment. Well, the other beautiful thing is the kind of people you interact with. I mean, neurosurgeons are not far anymore. I mean, I've been taught by a neurosurgeon in class. Mnakula story. Yeah. Like, that's the other side of medicine I think we don't appreciate. Like, cardiologist is not too far, is your lecturer. A neurologist is your lecturer. A pediatrician is your lecturer. All these big names you grew up thinking are now the people who you sit pretty and they give you exams. They're even moving around more than you are, because in an exam room they are serving you. So yeah, that was the other sweet moment. Of course. I will not say my worst though. But yes, there is, everyone I think has that best. I did enjoy internal medicine. I enjoyed it in 4th year. When we repeated it in 6th year, I realized I even loved it more. So I have a love towards, even most of my videos in my channel are internal medicine. If you look at them closely, the one thing I know, orthopedics is a no-go zone for me. That's like carpentry. Honestly, the hard work in removing bones and bringing back, no. Psychiatry is a no for me as well. That is not something I want to get into. So yes, there's always a best. Best can be 2 or 3, worst can also be 2 or 3, but everyone has that no-go zone and that which they embrace. I actually tried to do a video on that, but I realized it might not be the need of the moment in our resource setting. Sorry to say, out there in the West and well developed, even here in those high-end hospitals, it's important because lawsuits and all those things, you need to know exactly who was who. And also, I think they have a lot to do with a holistic and niceness in the hospital. But in most of our settings, people only want to get well. They don't care much. So I actually wanted to do that video. I realized may not really fit the need of the hour. People just care. I went to the hospital and I came back well. But I would encourage our people to want to know, because it's good, because it helps you to also know, this time I saw a general doctor and I didn't get the help I want, so I can see a specialist. So now if you're dealing with kidney problems, so okay, that was a general doctor, now I can see a nephrologist. So it is very good. And also tuache kusema daktari alifanya hii and then it was not even a doctor. So anyone, even we literally call everyone in the hospital doctors, even when you just know it's not a doctor. So if someone wronged you, it's us who take the way it's daktari alifanya. But the beauty is us, we know that cannot, when you tell me a story, I know that cannot be a doctor. Not to say that they don't. They are also human. We are also human with our weaknesses. But more often than not, I think our profession has a lot of ethics that we tend to uphold. Yeah. It's the best place. I know politics and all these things. You see us in the TV singing solidarity all the time, but that should not discourage anyone from doing, because medicine is one of those fields that gives you limitless opportunities. You can just literally you can do masters in business administration, start owning hospitals, being CEO of hospitals. You can go into research. You can go, you're not confined. I think people just see medicine as confined to that white coat and being in the hospital. No, it's bigger than that. It also has its own prestige and glamour and honor. People just call you daktari hata kama una shilingi. But yes, there's that also. I don't believe anyone should deviate just because of the current trends. I know it's a concern. I don't know what first years are feeling right now, seeing that salary slash and all that. I wouldn't want to be in their shoe. I would probably contemplate leaving, but I would encourage no one to leave. It is still a good opportunity. The world is so big, no one is limited here. And you're not, no one says you have to practice, but it's a good title.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you too.